Good evening, namaste, welcome dear friends. A very happy Navratri to all of you. Let us begin the class with a prayer. Heavenly Father, Divine Mother, Friend, Beloved God, Bhagwan Krishna, Jesus Christ, Mahavatar Babaji, Lahiri Mahashay, Swami Sri Yukteswar Ji, Beloved Gurudev Paramhansa Yogananda Ji, Friend and Guide Swami Kriyananda Ji, Saints and sages of all religions, the sages Vedvyas, Patanjali, and Adi Shankaracharya, humbly we bow and touch thy feet. Dear Divine Mother, O holy vibration of Om, enlarge my consciousness as I listen to thine omnipresent sound. Make me feel that I am both the cosmic ocean and the little wave of body vibration in it. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Let us invoke the presence of the Gurus. Just take a moment of silence and in the language of our heart, invite beloved Divine Mother to make us feel her presence within and around us always. May she grant us the three boons that we all seek: Bhakti, Shakti, and Mukti. As we sit in silence, let us hear a few thoughts about renunciation. Renunciation means turning one's back on non-essentials, that we may give our whole attention to the Lord. We might think of renunciation as an investment, which initially may seem a loss, but in time becomes multiplied to many times its original worth. The least gift that we give to God will return to us in divine blessings 1,000-fold. Renunciation means nothing less than the gift to God of oneself. Renunciation is of the heart. It isn't what you wear or the outward rules you follow. When you renounce all for God, you hold that renunciation as a precious secret between you and Him. All your desires, all your ambitions, then are for Him alone. Let us do the following affirmation. I spurn the tempting magic of this world. I fly high above all the mountains. I am free. I am free. I spurn the tempting magic of this world. I fly high above all the mountains. I am free. I am free. I spurn the tempting magic of this world. I fly high above all the mountains. I am free. I am free. Mentally follow this prayer. Lord, help me to see that in no outward experience will I ever find fulfillment. All that my heart has ever sought awaits me in Thee alone. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Friends, coming back to the study of the Yoga Sutras. In the last class, we studied that to achieve Yogas Chitta Vritti Nirodha, Patanjali has advised the twofold path of practice and renunciation, Abhyas and Vairagya. And when he talks of practice, basically what he's talking of is the practice of the yamas and the niyamas. Last time in the niyamas, we mentioned only cleanliness, but the other niyamas are contentment, austerity, introspection, and Ishvara Pranidhan or devotion. And it also asks us that we practice centering ourselves. Before we react to everything that happens outwardly, we pause and we practice centering ourselves and bringing ourselves back in. Also, we need to practice the presence of God at all times, in one way or the other. We may practice doing our Kriya Yogas and feeling the stillness of God. We may remember Him by taking His name, by chanting to Him, or we may remember the Lord by serving others and feeling God's presence in all the people around us. In one way or in all the ways, if we practice the presence of the Lord all the time, then God automatically will become our only reality and the truth that we seek. Also, Patanjali said, in terms of practice, the practice should be unceasing, uninterrupted, and it should be done with a lot of earnestness, with a lot of devotion. Then coming to non-attachment, he had said that non-attachment should be practiced to the things of this world, especially he said the things that are heard and that are seen. So we must renounce all those things if we were to become free. The next verse is the sutra is Sutra 16, and this says, Tat param purusha khyate guna vaitrisyanam. That means that supreme non-attachment, giving up the qualities, even the qualities of the universe, shows the real nature of Purusha. Swami Kriyananda ji translates it as this: when one ceases to thirst for outward manifestation, one attains supreme non-attachment and realizes the Purusha. So first, Patanjali said that you withdraw from the things heard or seen. Now he is saying that you must withdraw from all the gunas of this universe. And we've heard and we've read in the Bhagavad Gita that everything in this universe has one of these qualities or expresses one of the gunas, which is sattva, rajas, and tamas. And we know sattva is the purifying and the uplifting quality. Rajas is the activating, restless quality. So watch it in yourself. When we talk about the gunas, you must analyze as to where you are. Are you predominantly becoming sattvic? Are you predominantly rajasic or tamas, which is the darkening, lazy, dull, slothful category? So there are different times in our day when actually we are expressing one of these qualities, but it is our endeavor that we move from tamas to rajas to sattva. And then eventually we have to go beyond the gunas. So here Patanjali says, do not get identified with the variations that keep happening because of the gunas in your life. So because of the gunas, there is always this ever-changing world, different things keep happening. So do not get involved with the motion picture. If you withdraw into the beam of light, which is being projected from your own chitta into this world, if you withdraw into that, then the changes that are happening because of the gunas will not affect you, and you will come to the changeless state, which is the Purusha. And that is which is being said in this sutra, that if you get non-attached with the gunas, then you will know what is Purusha. And that is, knowing Purusha is the goal of self-realization, knowing that we itself are that. Okay. So Swamiji explains it further. He says, everything that is in nature, it's a combination and recombination of these three qualities or these three forces. The self of man, Purusha, is beyond all these, beyond nature. It is effulgent by its own nature. That is self-effulgent. It is pure and perfect. Whatever intelligence we see in nature is a reflection of that Purusha. So it is the Purusha which is the cause, and through Prakriti it manifests, and its intelligence is reflected in every particle of that manifestation. So what Patanjali said in the verses, you practice non-attachment to the gunas and you will automatically realize the Purusha. The other way to catch this is also that if by the practice of Kriya Yoga or other meditation techniques, if by Raja Yoga, if you are able to hold on to the stillness that is within you, which is the Purusha, that stillness beyond the level of thoughts, that is Purusha. If you can hold on to that, automatically your desires and attachments to the gunas of this world will fall away. So one has to practice it both ways. So one tries to practice non-attachment, withdrawal. Also, one tries to do the meditation techniques which are given by the guru. And all these ways, they kind of form a magnetic cycle and they reinforce each other. And eventually, it leads us to self-realization. Now, Swamiji also says, although the qualities are three, yet the directions in which the world moves is basically two, because this is a world of Dvaita or duality. So there is one direction which moves towards God, the other direction moves towards Satan. Now, very interesting thing that Swamiji says, God loves us, but Satan cannot love us. So what choice do we make? And it is not God or Satan that pull us toward themselves. It is we, by the choices that we make on a daily basis, on a moment to moment basis, that we set ourselves in the alignment of either of these two forces, either upward towards God or downwards towards delusion. So we as yogis, as aspiring yogis, we must be fully aware of where we are, how our thoughts and feelings are going. Are we giving into moodiness, or are we just holding our energy high and consciously taking it to higher levels? Are we doing our practices? We are not doing our practices. Are we listening to gossip, or are we listening to satsanga? Are we chanting, or we are just talking gibberish as the world does? So what are we doing? What choice are we making in each moment? And that very choice will determine to which frequency or to which side flowing energy we are aligning ourselves. And as Master said, satanic energy is it is present. It is true also that Satan exists. It is not a figment of anybody's imagination. There is a definite power in the universe which draws souls who want, especially who want to get free towards delusion. And of course, the entire creation is in this delusion. But if you want to get free from this delusion, then you will find that Satan tries to obstruct in many, many different ways. And it knows exactly what our weaknesses are, what are the kinds of thoughts. It will suggest us those thoughts, and we can easily get into the further vortices of feeling, and it will increase the vrittis of our mind, and we will go away from realizing the Purusha. Therefore, being alert and aware and practicing the niyama of introspection, study of the self, when this is how we can actually stop Satan from affecting us in our subconscious, conscious and superconscious ways. The only thing is to be alert and aware in this moment. Just pause and ask yourself, what am I thinking right now? Why am I thinking this right now? In which direction is this thought process taking me? Is this thought process useful to me in the first place or not? Or am I just passing time because I kind of just enjoy the drama of this life, that this person said this and that person said that, and I keep replaying that in my mind? So am I just engrossed in watching a movie, or am I actually wanting to be free? So this is a check that everyone, especially yogis, must make in every moment of their life. And this brings us to the next sutra, Sutra 17. Here Patanjali says, Vitark, Vichar, Anand, Asmita, Rupa, Anugamat, Sampragyat. So यहाँ पर संप्रज्ञात समाधि के बारे में बात की गई है, और इसको हम अभी डिटेल में समझने की कोशिश करते हैं. So vitark is reasoning, vichar is deliberation or discrimination, anand we know is bliss, asmita is the sense of I-ness, which is one of the kleshas, rupa is form, and anugamat means it happens, and sampragyat is that the consciousness. So what this means is that sampragyat samadhi means samadhi with I consciousness. So when you practice vairagya and when you practice abhyas of the various things that we mentioned, then we move towards samadhi, and samadhi in which one feels that one realizes that one is more than the body, one realizes that one is more than the thought, and that it is not limited by the limitations of the body. So one starts to realize its oneness with the universe. ये एहसास होने लग जाता है कि हम और आसपास का जो environment है, actually there is a oneness within that. But here the separation between the meditator and the object of meditation stays. So while suppose you start doing your Kriya Yoga and you reach to a point of stillness, in that stillness you start feeling that oneness. Initially you will know that you are meditating, and you'll say, today I feel that I am very still, and the stillness is extending beyond the confines of my body. And this stillness, since I am this stillness, I am extending beyond the confines of this body, and I am also going beyond thought. So this thing will come as you keep meditating daily and regularly. And then, but this consciousness that I am doing this will stay. So this is also what is called Savikalpa Samadhi. Master gave द नेम ऑफ संप्रज्ञात एज सभी कल्प। और जो दूसरी है जो हम नेक्स्ट वर्स में पढ़ेंगे, असंप्रज्ञात समाधि, उसको मास्टर निर्विकल्प समाधि कहते हैं। दोनों का मतलब एक ही है। सभी कल्प इज संप्रज्ञात, निर्विकल्प इज असंप्रज्ञात। ठीक है, तो सभी कल्प में हमने यही पढ़ा है कि sense of I-ness remains and a separation between meditator and object of meditation will remain. Swami Kriyananda ji says, Sampragyat or Sabhikalpa Samadhi is still tied to the various functions of the ego. अब इसमें प्रॉब्लम क्या है? This is the first step of actually going towards freedom from the limitation of the body and mind. एक तो इसमें प्रॉब्लम ये है कि सेंस ऑफ सेपरेटनेस अभी भी रहता है। सेकेंडली ये टेम्पररी स्टेट होती है, आप मेडिटेशन से उठेंगे और फिर से वर्ल्ड से इंटरैक्ट करना शुरू करेंगे तो आप भूल जाएंगे वो वननेस, और सडनली यू एंड मी, आई एंड दिस एंड दैट, अप एंड डाउन, ये सारी चीजें फिर से जो डुअलिटी है वो अपने आप वर्क करने लगेगी और फिर सेपरेशन आ जाएगा आपके डेली फंक्शनिंग में। So eventually this has to go, and this should go towards nirvikalpa samadhi. So let's just read what Swamiji says about this. In sabhikalpa samadhi, the meditator realizes that God alone exists, but he realizes it from the ego, as if he were looking through a large picture window. Thus, sabhikalpa samadhi is the first real break from delusion. But it also becomes the final supreme test of Satan. We must remember this. Master said, you are not safe from the works of Satan or delusion till you are in the state of nirvikalpa or asampragyat samadhi. And then he explains further. He says, for if the ego, seeing its own nature through that window, marvels, how great I am, it can by that very thought be drawn back into delusion. So यदि आपको जब आप मेडिटेट करते हैं आपको कुछ कुछ हद तक सभिकल्प समाधि का एहसास होने लगता है, और लेकिन क्योंकि अब आईनेस अभी है, ईगोइक सेंस है, तो उसमें आप प्राइड से स्वेल होते जाते हैं कि ओ माय गॉड, आई नाउ नो माय ट्रू नेचर and I am this great person, and look at the rest of the people, they are all fools, and you start to think that way, and aap apni matlab you actually are narrowing down into your ego, and this will be a major test, and this will cause you to fall back, because any sense of separateness is a delusion. Everything is one, God is one, realized by the grace of the Guru. Unless we realize that everything that we experience is one, and that one is ourself also, till that time we are in delusion, and this happens in nirvikalpa samadhi. इसका मतलब जो हमारी नॉन अटैचमेंट और प्रैक्टिस है वो सविकल्प समाधि से नहीं रुकनी चाहिए। कभी कभी हमें ये लगे कि हाँ आई एम दैट पीस, आई एम दैट जॉय, बट वहां हमने रुकना नहीं है। वहां अब फुल स्टॉप तो बिल्कुल ही नहीं, कॉमा भी ना ही लगाएं, बल्कि आप अपनी प्रैक्टिसेस को कंटिन्यू करें, फुल ज़ील से करें, अनइंटरप्टेडली, अनसीजिंगली, and with full devotion and earnestness for a long time. So you have to keep doing that. Some people, on achieving this state, that is sabhikalpa samadhi, fall not only from it but because of it. There is this story of Baba Gorakhnath. It is said that Gorakhnath ji, he lived for about 300 earthly years, and we know that many saints can extend their lifespans to 250, 300 or more years. So he lived about 300 years, and in that meantime he did so much tapasya. He gathered all the siddhis. जो नौ अष्ट सिद्धि होती हैं, जो 8 सिद्धियां, जैसे कि उसमें क्या होता है, एक एटम की तरह छोटा हो जाना इज वन सिद्धि, अपने आप को पूरा एक्सपैंड कर लेना, दैट इज अनदर सिद्धि, ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन इज अनदर सिद्धि. सो देयर आर मेनी सिद्धीज which the shastras actually say that it is possible to get them. So like Hanuman ji has had अष्ट सिद्धि, इसी तरह गोरखनाथ जी ने भी अष्ट सिद्धि प्राप्त कर ली थी. तो जब वो प्राप्त कर ली, अब उनको लगने लगा कि अब मेरा जो जीवन का लक्ष्य है वो एक तरह से पूरा हो गया है, और अब मुझे जल्दी ही ये शरीर छोड़ के जाना है, पर मुझे एक अप्रोप्रिएट कैंडिडेट ढूंढना पड़ेगा जिसको मैंने जो पावर्स और सिद्धीज प्राप्त की हैं मैं उसको ट्रांसफर करके फिर चला जाऊंगा. तो फिर वो बहुत जगह विचरते हैं। ऑफ कोर्स मेडिटेशन में ही वो तो अंतर ध्यान होके वो खोज लेते हैं एक ऐसा पर्सन जो गंगा किनारे बैठा होता है, एक बहुत ही यंग मंक होता है और वो भी तपस्या कर रहा होता है। और गोरखनाथ जी उसके पास जाते हैं और उनको कहते हैं कि मैं बाबा गोरखनाथ हूँ और मैं ये फलानी फलानी मेरे पास सिद्धि है और मुझे ध्यान अंतर ध्यान में ये आया है कि मुझे ये सिद्धियां आपको देनी है और फिर मैंने शरीर को त्यागना है। तो वो एक एक करके टेलीपैथी से बाय इंटेलिजेंट लाइफ फोर्स he transfers, Goraknath ji transfers all the siddhis to this monk. And when the monk has all the siddhis, the monk throws them in a sense into the river Ganga. And Goraknath apparently gets angry at this and he asks why. And the young monk says, still in delusion, Goraknath? So what does this mean? This means that all the powers of this universe belong to the universe, and you at any point in time cannot claim that it is mine. It is nothing is mine in this universe. And if you are self-realized, then everything is mine in this universe. So before that point, nothing is mine, and do not be attached to any little power that you gain as you meditate. And you will know that as you meditate, you have that ability to feel other people's feelings. Sometimes you can just feel out their thoughts, you know. So all those things do come as you practice your meditation techniques, but do not be attached to them. Do not be attached to visions. Nothing which is temporary is going to give you lasting happiness. So this is a very, very important point of discrimination. जो भी चीज temporary है, जो कि ये मानव जीवन भी है और ये मानव शरीर भी है और जितनी भी सच सिचुएशंस हमारे आसपास हैं, ये क्योंकि ये टेम्पररी है इसलिए ये हमें इटर्नल हैप्पीनेस दे ही नहीं सकती हैं। ये बहुत ही कॉमन सेंस वाली बात है। तो यदि हम सराउंडिंग सिचुएशंस और सराउंडिंग लोग जो कि सारे टेम्पररी हैं उसमें हम अपनी इटर्नल हैप्पीनेस खोज रहे हैं तो मूर्ख हम ही हैं और कोई नहीं है। ये यूनिवर्स नहीं हमें धोखा दे रहा, भगवान हमें धोखा नहीं दे रहे, हम खुद ही अपने आप को उल्लू बना रहे हैं। सो हमें इसको रियलाइज करना है इस बात को कि हम एक टेम्पररी चीज से एक परमानेंट हैप्पीनेस एक्सपेक्ट ही क्यों कर रहे हैं इन द फर्स्ट प्लेस। इट इज आवर मिस्टेक। So what we need to do is we need to turn inward and go towards our own chitta where the eternal Purusha, the Lord, the stillness, the absoluteness, the eternal and infinite Lord resides. He resides within us, and therefore all we need to do is turn that direction inside. And if we do get any siddhis, then we need to offer them back to the infinite from where they have been given. So nothing belongs to us. As Lady Marsha said, we belong to no one. Remember that someday you will have to leave everything and go into your home. Okay. So we must remember that Savikalpa Samadhi can also be a state from where people fall. People who fall from that state may well think they know better than their own guru. So एक बार थोड़ा बहुत एक्सपीरियंस होने लग जाता है तो लोग सोचने लगते हैं कि उनको अपने गुरु से ज्यादा मालूम होने लग गया है. They will have powers and they may well misuse it. Karma, however, is still generated by their egos and it can bind them for many incarnations. One must go beyond savikalpa, that is conditioned oneness, towards nirvikalpa samadhi, which is unconditioned oneness, before he can safely declare, I am free. It is, of course, helpful to affirm one's freedom, even as he struggles in countless vortices of attachment and desire. So, in truth, ये बात सच है कि आई एम फ्री हम तभी कह सकते हैं जब हम निर्विकल्प समाधि में। लेकिन गुरुजी ने हमें सिखाया है that if you start affirming the goal that you want to be, then you are actually in a sense magnetizing yourself to that goal. So इसमें ये गलत नहीं है यदि अगर आप आज ये कहते हैं आई एम फ्री, तो ये ट्रूथ है बिकॉज इसमें आप आई लिटिल ईगो को नहीं कह रहे हो, आप आई द इन्फिनिट सेल्फ को यानी कि आत्मिक सेल्फ को रेफर कर रहे हो। तो यदि आप ये कहते हो आई द आत्मिक सेल्फ आई एम फ्री, इट इज द इटर्नल ट्रूथ, आप कोई फॉल्स स्टेटमेंट नहीं बोल रहे हो। तो इसीलिए आप ये अफर्म अभी भी कर सकते हो, इवन दो वी मे हैव डिजायर्स एंड अटैचमेंट्स राइट नाउ, बट वी कैन स्टिल अफर्म इन आवरसेल्फ दैट आई एम फ्री. Okay, because Swamiji says this affirmation will by this you will offer yourself into the upward pull of God, and that will spurn the attraction of Satan. In Nirvikalpa Samadhi, the soul rises above ego bondage altogether and can never be trapped again. In this supreme Samadhi state, the soul achieves oneness with God. And all the saints say that anybody who attains oneness with God is God or becomes God. Is the soul then completely free? मतलब अब ये क्वेश्चन यहाँ रेलिवेंट आता है कि जब हम फिजिकल अपना फ्रेम छोड़ देंगे तो क्या हम फ्री हो जाएंगे कंप्लीटली? तो इसका आंसर है नहीं, क्योंकि हमारा जो सोल है वो कॉजल और एस्ट्रल बॉडीज में भी एनकेज्ड है. तो हमें वननेस विद एस्ट्रल यूनिवर्स भी करना पड़ेगा, अब रियलाइज करना पड़ेगा. Then beyond that, oneness with the thought that we are only an idea, and then going beyond that, then actually we will be free. ये प्रोसेस सुनने में लगता है कि बहुत ज्यादा समय लगेगा इसमें, बट यदि हमारी क्रिया योग की प्रैक्टिस बहुत फर्म है, अनइंटरप्टेड, अनसीजिंग, विद डिवोशन, विद अर्नेस्टनेस है, the grace of the guru, you don't know when it will work. It is working all the time, but when will be that final moment when you will have that experience? So do not underestimate your own power. Do not underestimate, do not think कि ये जीवन तो बस मेरा निकल गया, ये तो अभी तो कुछ हो नहीं सकता. ऐसा बिल्कुल भी मत सोचिए. यदि आप ऐसा सोचेंगे तो यही आपका सत्य बन जाएगा. तो आपने ये अपना सत्य बिल्कुल नहीं बनाना है. आपका सत्य ये है कि you are a child of God, and whatever God has, you have. It is your divine birthright to get your freedom, and you can get it in this lifetime itself. You can get it now. This is what you need to affirm and not fall into the delusion, because time again is a delusion. It is also the part of the satanic force. So do not fall into this trap of negative thoughts. Always affirm the truth with conviction right now. Okay, so then of course अगर हम स्वामी जी आगे explain कर रहे हैं कि physical body अगर frame आपने छोड़ दिया, अभी astral karma है, then again of course many lifetimes do come. But once many lifetimes do, even if they come in Nirvikalpa Samadhi, even then the sense of I-ness, you are a Jivan Mukta, the sense of I-ness is gone, therefore you will not create more karma. But the memory of having done some egoic karma in the past lifetimes remain, and that needs to be worked out. So for that, जिस तरह से हमने लास्ट टाइम बात किया था कि पंखा का स्विच बंद कर दें तो वो धीरे 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 स्लो होता है और फिर बंद हो जाता है, इसी तरह कुछ और जो 2-4 लाइफ टाइम्स बचेंगी जिसमें आपको पुराना कर्म जो है वो अपना निपटाना पड़ेगा, उसको कंप्लीट करना होगा, और फिर उसके बाद वो खत्म हो जाएगा. तब फिर जीवन मुक्त से हम परम मुक्त बन जाएंगे. तो स्वामी जी ने कहा कि गुरु जी से कि क्या हम मतलब एक बार आप जीवन मुक्त बन गए, आपको पता चल गया कि यू आर नॉट दिस ईगो, तो क्या हम सीधा बस ऐसे नहीं कह सकते कि आई एम फ्री एंड इट वाज गॉड ऑल द टाइम? तो क्या हम सिंपली ये स्टेट कर सकते हैं? तो गुरुजी ने कहा हाँ वो कर सकते हैं, लेकिन कई बारी इस एक्सक्यूज को लेके जो सेंट्स हैं वो वापस आते हैं अपने डिसाइपल्स को अपलिफ्ट करने के लिए. And like our own gurus who are avatars, they have come back and they are eternally free. Yogananda ji said, I was free lifetimes ago, but till every way brother on the roadside is calling for freedom, is calling me, I will, with bleeding feet I will come, be it 1,000,000 times I will come and help my brothers and sisters to be free. This is the promise of the great ones. It cannot be falsified. Then Swamiji says that once a saint has transformed himself to the realization that God alone in all the incarnations has been real, he achieves full liberation or moksha and becomes a paramukta or completely liberated being. A fully liberated being who, out of compassion for stumbling humanity, incarnates again in a body is known as an avatar. He returns with limitless divine power to save others. For example, Ram, Krishna, Jesus Christ, Buddha, all these came, they have unlimited power. Swamiji says that people in the West, now it's very interesting thought because Swamiji writes always for both the East and the West. In the West, people think that God is wholly other, that we must forever remain apart from him. In fact, as we study modern scientific thought, we are at a point, we are somehow led to feel that भगवान और हैं, हम कुछ हैं और भगवान हमसे परे हैं या हमसे दूर हैं या वो कोई और हैं, ऐसा विचार हमारे मन में आता है, जो कि एक कॉमन थॉट ऑफ द वेस्ट है. The thought that we actually become God is a staggering concept in most minds, especially in the West. In fact, they may think it's blasphemous to even think such a thing, that you can become God. But in fact, the truth is that God is the only reality. And there is nothing else besides God or beyond God. In our egos, we appear to be separate. But when we rise above the limitations of the ego consciousness, there is nowhere else to be except for in God. God is the only reality. God is the one reality. And once we leave our false sense of separateness, there is God alone, and we are that. When the soul rises above the need to return to earthly form, as an individuality expressed in that soul, it leaves behind all desires and attachments. Okay, then he says, then he's again, Swamiji comes back again to talking of the astral body. He says, although the body is not firmly encased, so अब यदि physical शरीर छोड़ दिया, तो body जो है, जो हमारा soul है, वो एक firm concrete matter type body में नहीं है, लेकिन वो एक प्राणिक energy field में तो है, which is the astral body. तो उतना सेंस ऑफ सेपरेटनेस नहीं रहता, लेकिन फिर भी कुछ मात्रा में एक सेंस ऑफ आइनेस रहता है, सेंस ऑफ सेपरेटनेस रहता है. Once the soul has overcome its attachment to the astral world, it is pretty much out of ego consciousness, but is still involved with its causal body. Its powers in that subtle body are almost limitless, but it is still involved in a gossamer of thoughts and thought forms that prevent it from full mergence in the infinite. It is only when the last cobwebs of thought are shaken off that the soul attains full union with God. At that point, yes, one becomes one with God. One becomes God. There is nothing in all existence but God himself. You, in your deepest nature, are God. This is a very, very deep sutra. And in fact, in the explanation of this sutra, Swamiji has actually condensed the entire spiritual path, which is the transcendence of the ego. The next sutra, Sutra 18, says, Viram pratyaya abhyas purvaha samskar sheshonya. इसका क्या मतलब है? The other samadhi is the stoppage caused by consistent practice, wherein only the unmanifested past impressions remain. So basically, in this verse, what we have already discussed, इस verse में वो condensed form में लिखा हुआ है. Swami Kriyananda ji says, unconditioned samadhi, that is nirvikalpa or asampragyat samadhi, occurs with the cessation of all conscious thought. However, subconscious memories of past incarnations remain. So ये हम पहले discuss कर चुके हैं और यही next sutra में भी बताया जा रहा है. So a little more explanation on this. Through the continuous practice of stopping the mind from making modifications. तो ये हमें फिर से याद रखना है कि यदि हम अपनी वृत्तिज को निरुद्ध स्टेट में नहीं लाते हैं, तो बिकॉज ऑफ आवर इगोइक प्रेजेंस, जो इस गुनाज की वजह से मॉडिफिकेशंस होती हैं, जो इतनी वृत्तिज होती हैं, हम उनके साथ आइडेंटिफाई करने लग जाते हैं. लेकिन जब हम निरंतर अभ्यास करते हैं इन वृत्तिज को काम करने का, अपने आप में सेल्फ में विड्रॉ करने का, तो this stops the mind stuff, that is consciousness, from going into vrittis or modifications. And what then happens when you are not creating new vrittis, new modifications? Only the past impressions of your egoic involvement remain. Except for past life memories or impressions, I consciousness in Nirvikalpa Samadhi has been demolished utterly. In effect, the soul sees itself as already one with God. This brings us to the next sutra, Sutra 19. Here Patanjali says, Bhav pratyayo videha prakriti laya nama. इसमें जो है दो इंपॉर्टेंट वर्ड्स हैं, विदेह और प्रकृति लया. इसको हम आगे डिटेल में समझेंगे. इसका मीनिंग क्या बताया गया है इस वर्ड्स का? दिस समाधि, दैट मीन्स निर्विकल्प, व्हेन नॉट followed by extreme non-attachment, becomes the cause of remanifestations of the demigods and those that become merged in nature. तो इसको स्वामी क्रियानंदा जी ने कैसे एक्सप्लेन किया? It says yogis who have not attained the highest state by the time they die remain attached to Prakriti owing to the ego's continued identification with outwardness. So यहाँ पे उन प्राणियों की बात की गई है जो कुछ लेवल ऑफ स्पिरिचुअल अपलिफ्टमेंट गेन कर चुके हैं, इवॉल्व हो चुके हैं, डिफरेंशिएशन बिटवीन द ट्रू आई एंड द स्मॉल आई जान चुके हैं, थोड़ा स्मॉल आई को सरेंडर भी कर चुके हैं, लेकिन कहीं ना कहीं दे हैव नॉट काइंड ऑफ जस्ट गॉन द फुल वे. तो वो जो डेमी गॉड्स हैं या एंजल्स हैं जो डिफरेंट रेल्म्स में रहते हैं, क्योंकि उनकी आईनेस अभी पूरी नहीं गई है, उनको वापस आना पड़ता है. तो विदेहा, वैदेही कौन थी? सीता. दिस इज बियॉन्ड बॉडी कॉन्शियसनेस. सो देह होता है शरीर और वैदेहा या विदेहा होता है बियॉन्ड बॉडी कॉन्शियसनेस. और प्रकृति लय होता है वन, द पर्सन, द सोल हु फील्स वन, हिज वननेस विद द फिजिकल नेचर. तो जिन्होंने ये वननेस कुछ हद तक प्राप्त कर ली है, जिन्होंने बॉडी कॉन्शियसनेस से राइज कर लिया है, लेकिन कंप्लीटली बिकॉज ऑफ लैक ऑफ प्रैक्टिस एंड नॉन अटैचमेंट कंप्लीटली आईनेस नहीं डिसॉल्व हुई है, उनको दोबारा आना पड़ता है. तो यहाँ स्वामी जी इसको एक्सप्लेन कर रहे हैं बहुत अच्छे से. He says there are two types of yogis: those who have attained their goal and those who are working toward the attainment of that goal. In truth, only a person who has achieved the goal deserves to be called a yogi, because yoga in the higher sense means union, already united. The yogi who has not yet attained the final goal may have achieved calmness, non-attachment, devotion, and other prizes along the spiritual path. But if his ego is still identified with outwardness, death will not release him from the need to return to earth in another body. So yes, on the spiritual path हमें ये सारे prizes मिलते हैं. हम धीरे धीरे वैराग्य थोड़ा बहुत आने लगता है, थोड़ा कामनेस आने लगता है, पीस आने लगता है, विजडम आने लगता है, इंट्यूशन डेवलप होने लगती है, हम जनरली सिचुएशन को थोड़ा बेटर मैनेज कर लेते हैं. बट हमें इस कंफर्ट जोन में नहीं बैठे रहना है. हाँ, लाइफ थोड़ी जहां से हमने शुरू किया था वहां से अब आके हमारी लाइफ थोड़ी कंफर्टेबल हो गई, तो हम अपने कंफर्ट जोन यहाँ पे अपना घर बना ले. ऐसा जैसे ही आप करेंगे वैसे ही डाउनफॉल शुरू हो जाएगा. बिकॉज इफ वी रिमेंबर द टीचिंग्स ऑफ द भगवद गीता, इट सेड इफ यू आर नॉट कॉन्शियसली मूविंग अपवर्ड्स then automatically you are moving downwards. So do not get comfortable. If you feel okay, now my life is getting comfortable and I can handle it, that very moment divine mother will give you some gift. She will poke you, she will pinch you, a challenge will come into your life, so that you need to raise your energy, and then only in crossing over that challenge will you find freedom. Because पीस वो पीस नहीं है जिसको हम शन करके सारे काम छोड़ दें कि अच्छा नहीं मुझे तो कुछ करना नहीं है, मैं शांत बैठूं. वो पीस ट्रू पीस नहीं है. ट्रू पीस इज द पीस ऑफ विक्ट्री, एज स्वामी जी सेड. When you are faced with a challenge, you uplift your energy, you fight that battle, you cross that challenge, and then the victory that has the fruit of peace in that, and that is the kind of peace that we are looking for. Okay. Interesting thing I've read from Vivekananda's notes, and we've read from Guruji's notes as well. Here and there, I've read that these demigods and these angels, they are not like, these are not fixed posts. They are high fixed people. In fact, it is said that even Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, these are not fixed realities. These are like posts, and souls who can uplift themselves actually occupy these posts. And certain posts are meant for one kalpa, for many kalpas, for one manvantras. These are all time scales in according to the Hindu Shastras, and they mean billions and billions of years. So for one yuga, or for one kalpa, or for one mantra, something like that, these are posts. So all who, that is why it is said that all who become realized and become one with God can become God or God-like, at least initially God-like, and then of course one with God. Something like the state of Mahavatar Babaji. Once he said that he didn't want to continue with his body, but because of the request of Mataji and Himashe, he's just keeping his body for the sake of the devotees. Whether he has a body or he doesn't have a body, it doesn't matter at all. And he is going to be eternally present, and he is in charge for this yoga, as we have known. Okay. In this life, when a videha, that is one who has understood that he is not the body, and who has attained nirvikalpa samadhi, he comes in this world again to finish his accounts. His whole life consists of finishing accounts of millions of lives, of many relationships, of many involvements, of commitments. Everything has to be closed. All the files that you have opened need to be closed. And if you remember, all of us have heard that story, that how when Buddha was just sitting in meditation and a man came and he spat on Buddha's face, and Buddha did not react. He just kindly simply wiped the face and he continued his meditation. But when this man went home, he could not sleep at night. He kind of repented on the act of what he had done, and he was also confused as to why didn't the Buddha react. The next day he went to ask the Buddha, and the Buddha just quietly walked with him towards a river, and they sat there, and the Buddha explained that what happened to me yesterday was probably initiated by me, and what you did was just a karmic reply of that, and that account is now closed. If I react again, then again I will be opening an account which I do not wish to. So here is an important lesson for us. Everything that is happening to us, we must acknowledge that somewhere we started it. Whether we remember it or not, whether it was this lifetime or not, it does not matter. If karma is the rule, it is the rule. We either accept it fully or we negate it fully. We cannot just accept it according to our whims and fancies. हमारे साथ आज जो भी हो रहा है वो हमने ही initiate किया है. The minute we take responsibility for this, that is the very minute which sets you towards freedom. Because अब आप जानते हो कि अब आप जो भी कर रहे हो वो अब आपको चॉइस करना है कि ये फर्दर फ्रीडम की तरफ लेकर जाएगा या बॉन्डेज. आप कितना रिएक्टिव हो उस बात को, या फिर आप टुवर्ड्स इनवर्ड चेंजलेस स्पिरिट जा रहे हो, आप कितना मेडिटेट करते हो. ये सारी चीजें जो गुरुजी ने हमें इतने सारे टूल्स दिए हैं, वो किस लिए दिए हैं? ही एक्चुअली नोज द चैलेंजेस ऑफ दिस वर्ल्ड. He knows how hard the world can knock us down. He knows people are going to slap you. He knows they are going to stab you from behind. But then there are these tools to keep yourself centered. Because ये सब होने के बावजूद आपको अगर रिएक्टिव प्रोसेस में नेगेटिविटी की तरफ चले गए तो आपका कार्मिक अकाउंट क्लोज नहीं होगा. I remember reading one of the stories from the New Path, Swamiji. He was explaining that he had a dream, and in his dream he had a friend. Then the friend betrayed him. And then in his dream, he's thinking of, how to handle this situation, because in his dream, he realizes that if he retaliates back, then in some other incarnation, that friend will retaliate back and then he will retaliate. So this will be a never ending cycle. So in his dream, he realizes that the only way out of this situation is forgiveness. If I forgive this person and remove the hurt, withdraw from the hurt that is in my heart, that is the only way to stop this cycle, which is going to be infinite if I don't consciously stop it. So somewhere you have to put a full stop and pause and say, okay, I'm not going to react. And reaction is going to, of course, create more vrittis again, away from God it will take you. But instead of reaction, we need to respond appropriately. So this does not mean that we are to become doormats, but we have to respond appropriately, and respond appropriately would mean never respond in an emotional state. If you're angry, if you're irritable, if you're sad, melancholic, you are not to make any intelligent decision in this time. You're not going to make intelligent decisions because your intuition is going to be obscured completely. Only, so whatever situation happens in your life, just observe it, take it in. Even if it hurts, do not react, pause, meditate on it, offer it to God. And once you are centered and there is a feeling of calmness, then you can pose the question to the infinite as to what you should be doing in this situation. And you will surely get answers. Only in that state of calmness, true wisdom and intuition can be given to us. Otherwise, we are going to create more and more vrittis and more karmic accounts for which we will have to come again and again and again. So we must remember this truth, and we must take responsibility of who we are and what we are doing now. And this brings us to the last sutra for the day, and that is Sutra 20. Here, Patanjali says, Shraddha, Virya, Smriti, Samadhi, Pragya, Purvak, Itaresam, meaning, for the others, that highest state, that is asampragyat or nirvikalpa samadhi, is attained through faith, strength of will or energy, memory or mindfulness, that is retaining constantly the awareness of God's presence, concentration or conditioned oneness, sabhikalpa samadhi, and discrimination. तो इसमें ये सभी उपाय और सभी मार्ग उन लोगों के लिए बताए गए हैं जो ऑलरेडी निर्विकल्प समाधि तक नहीं पहुंचे हैं. So you can say this verse is specifically meant for most of us. And what are the various things that Patanjali says here? क्या क्या करके हम पहुंच सकते हैं निर्विकल्प तक, highest state तक? Number 1, faith. Second, strength of will, energy. Then mindfulness or memory. Then concentration or single pointed concentration will take you to sabhikalpa samadhi. So that going to that state, and then it will take you beyond. And then discrimination. Discrimination means the application of your viveka, means being able to discriminate between not only the right and wrong, but also the real and the unreal. As we said, to differentiate between what is temporary and what is permanent, and go always towards what is eternal and permanent. Swamiji says, true yoga may be attained not only by the practice of yoga techniques, but also through right attitudes and applications. For faith, he says, it means far more than belief. Of course, we know that. It is developed by testing your belief. So, आपने suddenly आज ही आपको पता चला कि आपको faith in God होना चाहिए, और आप माउंटेन एज पे चले गए और आपने कहा कि भगवान जी, मैं तो छलांग मारने लगा हूं और मुझे बिलीफ है कि आप, मुझे फेथ है कि आप मुझे बचा लोगे. तो हमें पता है सबको कि क्या होने वाला है. Test your belief first. There are people who will be saved. For example, when we have the example of the Ranchi school, when master took the children towards a waterfall, and वहाँ पे कुछ stones का रास्ता था, और उन्होंने to make the children cross the river, he just centered himself and he asked the students to have faith in him and walk cross that river. And he, of course, he had the power, and the children could easily cross that river. Similarly, there was a disciple of Adi Shankaracharya. I think his name was Padmapad, and his name became Padmapad because they were to cross a river, and Adi Shankaracharya told him to come, do not be afraid of drowning, but to look at him and to focus on him and to have faith in him and come across the river. So every time the disciple put a foot on the water, a lotus appeared under his foot, and that's how he came to be known as Padmapad. So to have faith, you have to have tested your belief. Over a period of years, you believe in God, you to do a little bit test, as you know, you say, okay, now I think this work or this, I will be able to get out of this habit pattern. And once you're able to get out of that habit pattern, then you have more faith that, okay, affirmations is working. This way of this yoga technique is working. You have more faith in that. And then you go step by step and you expand your faith. And it, of course, faith means that you completely trust the divine. About willpower, Swamiji says, the half-hearted seeker will never find God. To achieve success on the divine pilgrimage, this requires strong willpower. The reason for this is that the tests on the path are many and often very severe. Some of these tests may be called temptations of Satan that, that pull us into a worldly life. Other tests come from the simple need to burn up all our past karma. So, कुछ डिफिकल्टीज हमारी आती हैं सामने जो हमारे को कथारसिस की तरह होती हैं. हम जब उस तपस्या के थ्रू गुजरते हैं तो हमारे the seeds of past karma are roasted in them. The others are temptations which we need to, by our willpower, we need to overcome. The deeper the devotion, the greater the tests the devotee is able to bear. And God also wants to know whether the devotee who seeks him are truly sincere and love him. For smriti, that is memory, mindfulness, Swamiji says, on the spiritual path, one must keep the thought of the spiritual goal always in one's mind. And by concentration, Swamiji says it is single-pointed concentration and absorption. For discrimination, the ability to differentiate the real and the unreal, between the temporary and the permanent. And this comes by the continuous practice of Jnana Yoga, of introspecting, of Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasana. Interestingly, this verse talks of Shraddha, Virya, and Smriti, and Sampragyat Samadhi. Interestingly, it is noted that when you have faith, your willpower to do more, it increases. So from Shraddha will come Virya, it will increase the Virya. By Virya comes Smriti. So more and more willpower you apply, more and more effort you put in, your the mindfulness, your alertness. So where are you putting your willpower? And you're putting your willpower in constant attention, alertness, and integration of your energies, and that will increase your mindfulness and your memory of who you are. And that when smriti increases, it brings you to one pointed concentration, that is sampragyat samadhi, and then savikalpa samadhi leads us to nirvikalpa samadhi. So friends, we've reached the topic of nirvikalpa samadhi. And this is all a true potentiality for us. Do not think this is written in the books. This is our true nature. And we are all destined. The fact that we have read and studied the Bhagavad Gita, the fact that we are studying the Yoga Sutras, which are taking us, Patanjali is kind of holding our hand and taking us towards Nirvikalpa Samadhi. And the fact that we have the grace of the Guru to be able to even come together and read such scriptures, then doubt not, even for a single moment, do not doubt that your goal is any other but God realization. So with that thought, let us just share the power, the blessings that we have received from these teachings with souls everywhere. Divine Mother, thou art omnipresent. Thou art in all thy children. Manifest thy healing presence in all bodies, all minds, and all souls. Oh. 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 Divine Mother, may thy love shine forever on the sanctuary of our devotion, and may we be able to awaken thy love in all hearts. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti.